Alright, we're going to do it. We're going to create the Netflix logo from scratch. And I'm pretty sure I can finish it before you can find something to actually watch on Netflix. Let's start off with a rectangle. We'll draw this out, same size here. I believe it's 310 by 310. We can just pop that over there. We'll put a radius on it of 20. Change this background color to black. Now let's draw out some stuff. Now before we get started, I want to make sure that you have this transform icon up here at the top. If not, right click, go to customize toolbar, find transform, and then click and drag that bad boy up here. Once you're done, click done. Okay, we're going to start off by drawing a rectangle. So I'll hit R for rectangle on my keyboard, draw one out about the thickness that I want, something like that there. That may be bigger than what we have over there, but that's okay. We have it centered here. Let's change the color to a red that closely matches up with what's over there. I think that's probably pretty good. If you want, you can get the icon or the eyedropper and choose exactly the color. From there, I'm going to click transform, and this allows me to kind of lean this bad boy over to the left. So I'm going to get it to about there, and I just want to check it to see if it's just about the same. And if we need to, we can change the color, something a little bit darker so we can actually see. So we got the right amount of bend. Just need it to be a little bit thicker. So let's bump this up to, let's say, 136 pixels. All right, let's get that color back to something a little bit brighter. All right, now let's draw out these guys right here, the tall boys. So I'm going to get R for rectangle. Let's draw these out. Something like that there. And let's get it the same height. That's what we want. And we're going to move it over so that the bottom corners are just in line right there. So that's pretty good. And I think this still needs to be a little bit thicker. So let's go 146. And that's pretty good. Let's just double check. See what I got here. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. Drag that down. Bring it in just a little bit. I can't help it. I just want it to be accurate-ish. Okay, let's drag this down here. Let's make this just a little bit wider. And then when I click on that, I'm going to drag it over just a little bit. And then this guy should be in line with the bottom. So we want these 2 points to be somewhat in line. All right, now that I have that there, let's change the color to kind of a darker-ish red. So you can try to pick it yourself, or you can color pick it. I think I'm happy with that right there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and select that, hit Command D, hold down Shift and drag that over here to the other side. That's looking pretty good. All right, now what we want to do is add the shadowing for that Netflix logo. So there's a little bit of a drop shadow here. And there's a little bit of a drop shadow on the rear side right here. So let's go ahead and choose this guy. Let's go for the shadows. And I want an X shadow. So I want it to push from left to right. I don't really need the Y, so I'll take the Y off of there. And then let's slowly bump up the X value until we get it to what we want. Maybe about a 3. We're going to increase the spread to make it jump out just a little bit. And then we'll also increase the blur because we don't want it to be as harsh. And we could probably dial back to a 2. That looks pretty good. Kind of shadowing that we need. Now, we could bump this up. We could make it go upwards just a little bit. It looks like there's a little bit of an upward angle to this. So you could get your Y value, and I think we want to do like a minus. Let's start off with like a -2. And that bumped it up a little bit. If you're not sure, click over in the X so you have access to the arrows here, and then just keep it going. Then you can also increase the blur. That drops it down a bit. You can play with the spread. I'm going to leave it at 1. And then lastly, you can get in here to the color picker and then maybe drop the alpha down so it's not as harsh. So dial it back. I'm going to go to like a 34. All right, now to save yourself some time for the other side, let's just right click and we'll duplicate. And we want this side now. So let's go to the X value, and this time we're going to plug in a minus. We don't really need to worry about the Y value going negative. We want it to actually go downwards a bit. So let's change this, take off that minus value. And there we go. And I think the rest of it is pretty good. So we have our shadows, and we could dial that second one back just a little bit as well. Let's go here, and I think we actually want this one. Let's dial that back just a tiny bit. All right, last but not least, that's looking pretty good. We want this little curve down in the bottom. So one way to go about that, I'm going to zoom way in here, reposition. I'm going to draw out an oval. Let's get something like that. We want it to be nice and long. Doesn't have to be too curved there, but what we're looking for in terms of the bottom is we want right where the circle starts to bend, we want it to hit that bottom left corner, and we also want it to hit this bottom right corner here. So to make sure that's happening, you can zoom way in. Let's drop the opacity way down, and then play around with this and resize it a bit. So maybe right there. Let's get this centered. That'll definitely help. I'll bring it up just a tiny bit, and I think I'm good with that. So now we're going to need 3 copies of this oval because we're going to perform a Boolean operation on these guys, and we're going to need 1 for each leg. So I'm going to hit Command D 2 more times, and that'll give us 3 total copies. So to start it off, let's click off. Let's select our first oval. I'm going to hold down Shift and select this guy over here. Come up here and click Subtract. Now let's do the same thing with this middle one. So I've got my oval selected. I'm going to hit Shift, Subtract, and then last time, let's go over here, hold down Shift, and now we got that nice little curve. If we zoom out and look at the two, you'll see that you have that nice little curve there. And if it's not exactly what you wanted, you can always go back and change that oval and adjust it until you get it exactly how you want it. The only thing I would change is probably go back and make these a little bit thicker, just so they're more accurate with the Netflix logo. If needed, you can download this sketch file in the resources section and play along and see what changes I made. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.